Okay, I want to show you the difference between the two Hring scarves. This Hring scarf is the traditional Hring scarf with the Hring Stitch, and this one is the simple version. You can see very quickly that this is a little bit more of a complicated stitch than this simple eyelet stitch right here. They both start out the same with the 22 row border, and then they both have 4 rows of transition, and that is the section where you're moving from the border into the stitch. That transition is different depending on if you're working the Hring scarf or the simple Hring scarf. See how it's a little different in there because you're jumping into the eyelet stitch right there and you're jumping right into this lacy Hring stitch here. So you work the 22 rows. If this lace is complicated for you, just work from the written directions. Don't work from the chart, and just follow them stitch by stitch and check your stitch count on every row. Use lifelines if you want to. Practice with bigger yarn and bigger needles if you need to without any beads. That might really help if you're finding the yarn and needle size frustrating to work with. But it's only 22 rows. You can do it, and it's so beautiful, and you're just going to wow yourself and everybody else with it when you're done. Once you get through the 22 rows and the 4 rows of transition, you've decided at that transition chart whether you're working the Hring stitch or the eyelet stitch. The eyelet stitch is so simple it doesn't even have a chart. It's just 4 rows that are written out for you. You'll work it over and over to the middle point. If you're working the Hring stitch, there's written instructions and a chart. Just decide which one you enjoy working with more. Some people, this is a Shetland lace stitch. It's a traditional Shetland lace stitch called the bird's eye stitch. Some people actually find it easier to work from the written instruction than the chart. I worked from the chart. I used a post-it note. I moved it up for every row. There are some rows where you can see the stitch on the needles, and then there's a few rows when you're closing up the top of the circle that your lace doesn't quite make sense the way that it's been making sense all along. So there's a row or two where you just have a little faith and you work it just as it's written across and then continue on. But again, if you get stuck, just follow the written instructions and compare them to the chart if you want to. This is garter stitch lace, so you're working knit stitches and knit 2 togethers and SSKs on right side and wrong side rows. So that might be a little different for some of you, but I think you are up for the challenge. And the stitch is so cool, you just kind of want to like stick your finger into every hole right there. Isn't it beautiful? I'm going to show you more. I love it. So I challenge you, do the Hring stitch. Go for it. You might not be able to chat with your family while you're working on this one. It might be private knitting, and that's okay. It's okay to have a few things that are just for you and being with yourself. So happy knitting. Let me know if you have any questions.